So good.
We are live.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Today is February 12th, 2025, Wednesday, and this is the Howard County delegation meeting. Today's agenda, we'll talk about a few bills and possibly vote on that as well. So the first bill is HOCO 2025. Is there any questions for this bill?
We just have, I mean, while we go through them, since these aren't bills that we considered before, could we have Dara just say what they are and what they do?
I would also ask Mr. Chair that, remember, the constituents don't know necessarily what the numbers are, so we should at least tell the name and
Sure.
what the bill is.
Okay. Yeah, so Dara, Mr. Mariotti, would you mind just talk about what the bill about?
And now can you remind me what number we're on?
Sure. So it's HOCO 2025, and it's Howard County Alcoholic Beverages Class MT movie theater license. So this bill would establish a Class MT movie theater beer, wine, and liquor license in Howard County, and it would authorize the board to issue the license to the owner of a movie theater that holds a crowd control training certification, and would authorize the license holder to sell beer, wine, and liquor at retail at the place described in the license for on-premises consumption by a patron who has purchased a ticket to a current or future showing of a movie on the licensed premises. And the board under the bill is authorized to set the hours and days of sale for the license, as well as the annual license fee, and is required to adopt regulations to carry out the section. I will say that there are a number of similar provisions in other counties. There was a bill from 2021, chapter 547 of that year in Anne Arundel County, and Hartford County also has, they both have MT licenses. There's a slightly more prescriptive. This bill gives the liquor board more leeway in their decision making. Montgomery County has a theater license. Prince George's County has what's called a Class BLX license, which can be granted to certain movie theaters. And then Frederick County and Washington County have what are called Class CT licenses, which refer to cinemas and theaters.
I'd like to move the bill.
Second.
Okay, any questions? So if you want to read the bill, actually on the calendar you shared from Musa, you can just open the link, the bill number. That bill will open automatically. It's a link to the bill language.
Thank you.
Okay, so I don't see any hands raised. Mr. Jeffrey, can you call the vote?
This is a vote on HOCO 20-25. Chair Wu,
Yes.
Delegate Gazzoni,
Yes.
Delegate Hill,
Yes.
Delegate Tuasa,
Yes.
Delegate Watson,
Yes.
Delegate Ziegler.
Yes.
HOCO 2025 passes favorably.
Okay. Next bill is HOCO 2125. This one just add Class D license delivery. Really just very straightforward. And Mr. Mariotti, would you mind describe a little bit?
Yes, so Howard County 2125, Howard County Alcoholic Beverages Class D licenses delivery. And chapter 662 of I don't have the year written down. Essentially a Class A license is authorized to deliver alcoholic beverages within Howard County. This bill would expand that provision to apply also to a Class D license holder. There are certain requirements for delivery. Either the license holder or an employee who makes the delivery must be at least 18 years of age. Both the deliverer and the recipient have to sign a form that indicates that the recipient is at least 21 years of age. The recipient acknowledges that the sale of alcohol to an individual under the age of 21 is a crime, and that the deliverer inspected the ID of the recipient, and someone who is at least 21 years of age must be physically present for the delivery and must pay for the purchase at the time of the order.
Bill.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
I was
Um,
seconding, but I had my mute on.
Okay, Delegate Hill,
Yes,
You-
Ms. Moore, could you please clarify again what a Class D license is?
A Class D license is for a tavern. So it'd be a business that sells a certain percentage, I believe it's 75% of its sales are from alcohol.
Thank you.
you have other questions? And Delegate Guzoni.
Thank you. I just wanted to confirm that my understanding is that the Class D establishments also already have the ability to sell like a bottle of wine that someone can walk out the door with as opposed to consume in the restaurant. Is that true?
Correct. This is just for delivery.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? So, Delegate Guzoni, you were, okay. So, okay, so Ms. Jeffrey, can you call a vote on this?
This is a vote on HOCO 21-25. Chair Wu,
Yes,
Delegate Guzoni,
Yes.
Delegate Hill,
Yes.
Delegate Tuasa,
Yes.
Delegate Watson,
Yes.
Delegate Ziegler.
Yes.
HOCO 21-25 passes favorably.
thank you. So next bill is HOCO 325, is a public campaign financing for Board of Education. Ms. Moriarty, would you mind describe the bill a little bit?
So, HOCO 325, Howard County Public Campaign Financing, Board of Education. This bill would authorize the governing board of Howard County to establish a system of public campaign financing for members of the County Board of Education and makes a number of conforming changes.
Okay, Mr. Teresa, Delegate Teresa.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just gonna say like I love any expansion of public financing. But a question, looking at the bill, and maybe I'm reading too fast. It says Board of Education on the front page, but it doesn't in the rest of it. So maybe that's just because it's in a section on education, but where is it limited to Board of Education? I mean, I would support it if it was much broader, to be clear, but I'm having trouble reading it, I guess.
So if you look at the bottom of page 1 of the bill into page 2,
Okay,
and currently under B1 under existing law, there is already the authority for a governing body of a county to establish a public campaign financing system.
Yeah. it was my bill, but yeah, cool. Then when I was on the county council, it was my bill, but yes.
You just
Okay.
said it was last year, we passed.
So then
Oh, but-
B1 Roman numeral 2, it starts on line 21 of page 1 and goes to line 2 of page 2, and would also authorize the governing body of Howard County to establish the same system for the County Board of Education.
Oh, sorry, got it. Thank you.
I think
Okay, Delegate Guzoni.
Yeah, I just want to confirm that this is enabling legislation for the county.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, but I'd move approval.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
All right, hang on one second. I walked away for a minute. Remind me, please, which bill this is?
HOCO 325, Public Campaign Financing Board of
Got it.
Education.
Got it. Thanks.
Okay, so Mr. Jeffrey, can you call a vote?
This is a vote on HOCO 325. Chair Wu,
Yes,
Delegate Guzoni,
Yes.
Delegate Hill,
Yes.
Delegate Tuasa,
Yes.
Delegate Watson,
Yes.
Delegate Ziegler.
Yes.
HOCO 325 passes favorably.
thank you. So next bill is HOCO 525. Howard County protects river wildland permission to use of motor vehicles and motorized equipment. Mr. Moriarty, would you mind describe this bill as well?
so. Howard County protects the river wildland, use of motor vehicles and motorized equipment. This bill would authorize the Department of Natural Resources to enter into certain use agreements to facilitate the use of motor vehicles and motorized equipment for the purpose of maintaining existing paths to ensure clear and safe access to the wildland. And I will just mention on this bill, looking at the state wildlands map last night. The Patuxent River wildland, excuse me, is in both Howard County and Montgomery County. So at the very least, I believe that at some point, Montgomery County delegation may need to be consulted about this bill because it would affect how it's currently drafted the wildland in both Howard County and in Montgomery County.
So what does that mean? Do we need to talk to them before we approve this bill, or?
So it might be an idea to hold it for the moment. It may be the case that this bill is actually not technically like a local bill at all, because it would affect two counties how it's currently drafted. And I believe that amendment could be made in committee, since this bill has already been given a Senate bill number, and this body could still, I think, vote to indicate there's
How about we make amendments that this only
Mr. Chair.
like apply to Howard County part of the.
that would be an option as well.
Okay, Delegate Hill.
Mr. Chair, I don't think you have to hold the bill. What I've seen in our committee, when bills come over, you simply have to ask the other jurisdiction and to send a letter that they
Okay.
have no objection that they sign on to support. So you have
Okay.
some options there. We don't have to hold the
I
bill.
see. Okay, Delegate Teresa.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to hold the bill either, actually. But it doesn't make sense to say that we're only applying it to Howard County for now. No, I'm seeing Delegate Gazoni say no. So I don't know what the solution is or what the right solution is, but I don't know if it
Please,
makes sense
okay.
for us to pass something that applies somewhere else.
Okay. So Delegate Gazoni.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My reason for shaking my head was I think it would be unreasonable for volunteers to necessarily know where the county line was and where they would
Right.
have to stop.
That's true.
Call me crazy.
So I think that's really reasonable. I'm just not sure that we even have the authority to pass something that applies across the line. Like usually when there's two bills, because I'm on a subcommittee that does these in ENT, when there's two bills, it's like something that says like, you know, you allow, I don't know, motorists to do X in this county and motorists to do X in this county. This is a little bit different because you're sort of permitting something on certain land, but the land isn't even in our district, but I don't feel the need to restrict it. So I'm feel comfortable voting for it. And
Okay,
then
Delegate
One-
Hill.
I would just suggest that we move on the bill and we can work out, I think you have a conversation with whoever oversees these things and with the other delegation and figure out the best way to go forward. And we
Okay, so do we have a motion?
move approval.
move the bill second.
Delegate Teresa move, Delegate Hill second, and Mr. Jabari, can you call a vote?
This is a vote on HOCO 525. Chiru,
Yes.
Delegate Gazoni,
Yes.
Delegate Hill,
Yes.
Delegate Teresa,
Yes.
Delegate Watson,
Yes.
Delegate Ziegler.
Yes.
HOCO 525 passes favorably.
Thank you. And our last bill today is HOCO 1625, lodging establishment prohibition on hourly room rentals. Mr. Mariotti, would you mind to describe the bill and the amendment?
And so the bill, as amended, would prohibit an innkeeper or an employee of a lodging establishment in Howard County from providing or offering to provide a room in the lodging establishment for less than a full one-night rate. And a full one-night rate is defined as the bill is the minimum fee charged for the use of a room in a lodging establishment for no less than 12 consecutive hours. The bill is originally drafted and had established a prohibition as less than 10 consecutive hours, and this was amended by the Senate delegation to be a full one-night rate, which was defined as 12 consecutive hours. So what that would mean would be that it essentially a hotel or a lodging establishment cannot offer a room for less than its own minimum one-night rate. I will add that as this bill is currently drafted, there are some constitutional concerns, as the bill likely violates home rule and would need either to be drafted to apply statewide or to, in the similar vein as the last one, add a second county to address that constitutional issue.
Okay, thank you. Can you repeat that constitutional issue for this bill
Sure.
again?
So let me just pull up my. So the concern is that this bill would violate the home rule. We look at Article 6A, Section 4 of the Constitution. It would prohibit the General Assembly from adopting a local law for a charter home rule county, in this case Howard County, on a matter covered by the Express Powers Act. In this case, that would be the general police powers of Howard County. Article 6A, Section 4 provides that no public local law, apparently I'm repeating myself here, the Express Powers Act authorizes a charter county to pass any ordinance, resolution, or bylaw not inconsistent with state law that may aid in maintaining the peace, good governance, health, and welfare of the county. Furthermore, a county may exercise the general welfare or police power authority only to the extent that the powers are not preempted by or in conflict with public general law. The police power delegated to charter counties includes the power to regulate private business to the extent necessary to promote public health, safety, morals, and welfare. Although this bill is drafted to amend its Title 15, Subtitle 2 of the Business Regulations article, although that section of the code addresses certain rights and responsibilities of innkeepers in the state, our concern is that that section does not appear to preempt a charter county from adopting its own regulatory measures on inns and innkeepers in the county.
Okay, thank you. And Delegate Teresa.
Okay, well, this is I now have a different question. So I thought what I thought I heard you saying, but maybe I'm missing it, is that they can already do this. And I don't mind us making that clear, but I thought you were saying that was when their police powers. Maybe I misunderstood what you were saying.
So the county could make this a requirement. The concern is that a General Assembly bill which addresses the police powers of one county only is where the home rule issue is raised, but the county itself could themselves establish this requirement. And also, I will add, I'm not aware of any obligation on a lodging establishment offering a room on a hourly basis or less than for a one night rate, but this bill intends to prohibit that as an option. But if it was your question that the county could already do this, or
I thought what you were saying is the county could already do this, but you're saying we can't affect the police powers of one county without affecting the others?
without affecting, if you in certain fields, yes, if you affect the police powers of one county, that's a home rule issue. But if it were to say, for example, Howard County and Anne Arundel County would no longer be a home rule issue, or if it applied statewide.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. I don't necessarily share that concern, but I do appreciate that you guys are raising it. The other thing that the reason I originally raised my hand is I just wanted to confirm that this is only for lodging. This would still allow sort of the like hourly meeting space kind of places to, and that's the way I'm reading this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then,
so,
yeah.
If you look at lines 9 to 11, it's for lodging or sleeping purposes.
Okay, and then Chair Wu, I noticed that Senator Lamb's here. This is his bill. Maybe he has an answer to our questions.
What question do you have?
Well, I thought maybe since he raised it while Dara was talking about that, I don't know, but I don't necessarily have a question. I just thought he might have an answer to what we
Okay.
were.
So Dr. Guzzoni, so do you have any questions? I'll move in the order. Okay, so Senator Lamb,
So,
do you
no,
want to?
Delegate Wu, I do have a question, please.
Okay, sorry.
I want a clarification because part of Dara was breaking up a little bit when he was talking about this part. Because on the printed version I have, it has 10 consecutive hours, and did that get changed to 12 by amendment?
Yeah, so I can pull up, I think, the amended version or in fact, you know what I'll do? The agenda that was sent out by Musa has the amendment in it. And if I can share my screen.
I
Oh.
printed this morning, I printed out the version of the bill that was in the agenda.
Yeah, and then it's hard to see on the agenda, but there's a separate hyperlink
Okay.
next to it where it said amended.
Missed that.
So yeah, so that was amended by the Senate delegation.
Okay, so it's 12.
Yeah, it's a full one night rate, but that's defined as the minimum
12
rate for a
hours.
12-hour period.
Okay. My other question, because I think I just heard you saying this, was that to your knowledge, there are not lodging establishments that are doing hourly in the county at this point?
No, I have no
Sorry.
knowledge on that. And I was saying that I'm not aware that I don't believe currently a lodging establishment would be required to offer an hourly rate, but there may be some that are choosing to. They themselves could say that they're going to prohibit the rental of a room or the use of a room on an hourly rate.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So Senator Lamb.
Sure. So, hi. The issue Dara is describing was one that also came up during the Senate delegation. The issue basically is that if there are authorities that are deferred to the counties based on home rule, the General Assembly is generally restricted from implementing statutes that are specific to that county if that authorities are already been delegated to that county, unless the legislation being considered touches on more than one county, in which case then it supersedes that county's own home rule. So what we did on the Senate side was basically are planning to amend the bill to include Anne Arundel County, and that would address that constitutionality issue. So if the House delegation chooses, what you could do is amend Anne Arundel County on to the bill, and then see if Anne Arundel County would be willing to also support the legislation. So that's what we're doing on the Senate side.
Okay, that sounds like a solution. And Delegate Teresa.
Okay, so two things. One, I'm not comfortable with that solution at all without talking to Anne Arundel County. I'm fine with I'm fine with moving the bill and passing it the way it's amended now. And then if Anne Arundel County expresses an interest doing that, but I also don't understand how that's a constitutional issue. Like, I don't understand. I understand that I understand Senator Lamb's explanation that it's generally the way it's done in the General Assembly. But I don't understand how there could be a constitutional issue solved by doing two counties and not one, but it may just not be something I'm familiar with. But my suggestion was that we move the bill as it's amended now, and then we can amend on Anne Arundel County once we hear from them.
Delegate here.
Yeah, since the senator's here, I just wanted to ask, I mean, I saw this as an effort to cut down on opportunities for prostitution. But I was curious if he had any discussions with the county itself about whether, since they can do it on their own, whether this is something that they have been considering doing on their own, and how this affects people who are homeless and often are transiently in and out of hotels.
I did not ask about the homeless individuals that are unhoused. I suspect since they're unhoused that they probably need more than hourly lodging. on one point. You know, this came out of a community association meeting that took place at the Elk Ridge Community Association. And so I think that they had passed it along to their council reps as well in Elk Ridge. I don't know if there was anything that came out of that conversation with them. I was the only one in attendance at that meeting. So that's where this came out of.
Thank you.
So I think with the advice from the council, I would rather amend this to include around the county. Then that way, it's at least there's no confusion about the constitutional issue. Then we'll go to the Arundel County delegation, see how do they feel about it. That probably is a better way.
I suspect the senator's already done that since he represents Anne Arundel County. We can ask him that.
But the bill in front of us not amended that way. So, okay.
Yeah, I mean, what we did on the Senate side is we passed it out of delegation with it to be amended, and then we're checking with the Senate delegation as well to see if we can get a letter of support from them. But we'll defer to all of you how you want to handle that.
Okay, thank you, Senator Lam. So, Delegate Teresa.
Well, yeah, I agree with Delegate Hill. And now I can't remember what she said because I'm distracted by the rest of the conversation. I'm just not comfortable adding them. I don't, is there a particular rush? Could this bill be held till next week? I just don't, but anyway, looks like Delegate Guzzoni wants to say something, so.
Delegate Guzzoni.
Yeah, just pointing out that this is the second bill that we're now thinking that we need to add another county to. So I have a level of, I don't know, angst about that. Maybe that's not quite the right word. So I'm also not clear if the adding of those additional counties to either of these bills, given that they're both on the Senate side, and Senator Lam is here and can speak to this one, but I don't know where Senator Hester is on the Patuxent River Wildland one. So I think that I'm sort of with Delegate Teresa that maybe we could hold this one. I'm also, my sense was that Senator Lam has not spoken with the county about this lodging bill either, and I would be curious what the county's thoughts were.
Thank you. And we have actually Maria Evans from the county government. So Ms. Evans, are you available to share your thoughts on this bill? She's not available.
Hey there, sorry, I'm calling in for my phone and
no
I couldn't
problem.
mute myself fast enough. Thank you.
Thank you very much for availability here.
Of course. So we don't have a particular position on this piece of legislation. If there were any concerns or questions that the delegation had, whether House or Senate, you can let me know and then I can go ahead and take that back. I know right now what you're discussing is it crossing jurisdictional lines, but do you have a particular question, Delegate Guzzoni?
My sense from Mr. Moriarty was that this is something that the county could do on its own and would not get us into any possible constitutional issues, nor would we need to be working with Anne Arundel County on it. So it seems like a more straightforward path is to do it through the county if that's a possibility.
Right. Okay. Yep. I will get back to you.
Thank you so much.
Delegate Hill.
Yeah, so again, since we're doing things a little bit differently this year, this has already been introduced in the Senate. So, you know, we don't have to have a cross file. They can work it, and when it comes over, we can submit a letter at any point during the Senate hearing, whatever, of support. So this doesn't have the same urgency as if I'm understanding correctly what our process is, it doesn't have the same urgency as the delegation bills that no one had voted on or whatever. So this is already on the Senate side. It's been introduced. I assume they have a hearing date. So we don't, you know, our voting on it today is not.
Okay. Delegate Teresa.
Thank you. So just one more for I suggest we hold it, but I do want to applaud, and I don't know which senator put this in, if it was Senator Lam or not, but putting in something, because to me, this addresses human trafficking, which is concerning to me. But I do think we should be checking with the county and with another county, Anne Arundel County, for example, if they want to get on. So I recommend we hold it.
Okay, so we'll hold this bill for the moment and let's get back, see what's the path move forward for this bill. And do we have other questions? Otherwise, we're okay. Delegate Ziegler, you raise your hand. You're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I would like to get, if possible, an answer to Delegate Hill's question about the homeless. I know that in those Route 1 motels, when I was a court-appointed special advocate, a lot of kids, there are a lot of families that live in those hotels, and I feel like with it just extremely vulnerable populations, it's really hard sometimes to guess what their needs are exactly and, you know, what's going on. Although I appreciate the human trafficking issue as well, but I would like to know a little more about that.
Got it. Thank you. So do you have other questions? Otherwise, and this meeting is adjourned.